Fever to new heights of success, perhaps converting them into league powerhouses.
I love her brother too. He's awesome. Obviously a Pacer too. We were in a little commercial together, so I love their family. They're just awesome people.
Join us as we explore Cheryl Miller's history, uncovering the tales and secrets surrounding this USC legend.
I was 13 years old, and there was an article in the newspaper, she's 13 and she can play.
And imagining what the future holds for Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever under Miller's tutelage. Cheryl Miller's rise to basketball stardom started at Riverside Polytechnic High School, where she immediately established herself as a prodigy.
My dad and my mom did a great job. Thank God my mom was a registered nurse, because it came in handy.
In one memorable game, she scored an unbelievable 105 points, propelling her team to an unprecedented 4-year record of 132, including an 84-game winning streak and 4 consecutive CIF titles.
So that's the fun part. I found out about this less than a week ago.
Her brilliance was evident, and she became the first high school player, male or female, to be chosen a Parade All-American 4 years in a row. In 1981, she was named the National High School Scholar Athlete of the Year, setting state records for points scored in a single season and career.
It was, if you're gonna do something in life, do it passionately. You know, and some people may not be like that, but
her supremacy continued at USC, where Miller cemented her place among the best basketball players of all time.
My life is completed full circle, coming full circle and getting the opportunity.
Trojan, she led the team to a 112-20 overall record over 4 seasons, winning back-to-back national titles in 1983 and 1984. In both championship campaigns, she was selected NCAA Tournament MVP, demonstrating her ability to execute under pressure and lead her team to victory. Miller's accomplishments did not end there.
Just for women. Just for women. And it's not just a facility for women, it's a facility that is hands down better than probably, and I'm not inflating this number.
She was also named Naismith Player of the Year 3 times and won the Wade Trophy once. She was a 4-time Kodak All-American who departed USC with virtually all of the school's records.
Well, that was the wonderful thing and blessing for me with my 2 older brothers, is they were able to buffer my dad a little bit, like back off. Otherwise, she's gonna quit.
Including career scoring, scoring average, career rebounds, total field goals, and free throws. Her outstanding performances won her the distinction of ESPN Female Athlete of the Year in 1984 to 85, as well as Player of the Decade from the Women's Basketball Coaches Association.
Probably 98% of the NBA do not have a practice facility like that, with all the bells and whistles, and the bells and whistles that make sense.
When the Pac-12 Conference announced its All-Century team in 2016, Cheryl Miller was appropriately voted Pac-12 Player of the Century, a fitting homage to her immense effect on the sport. Her stellar career has included entry into the USC Hall of Fame in 1995 and the Pac-12 Conference Hall of Honor in 2018. Even USC retired her number 31 jersey in 2006, guaranteeing that her legacy will be remembered for future years.
And if you sow a character, you reap a destiny. Now, I'm certainly not saying that I was destined for the Hall of Fame.
Miller's foreign career was similarly successful.
They know, and we certainly have come a long way. And I'm not about gouging, but it's a long time overdue.
She led the USA squad to gold medals in the 1984 Olympics, the 1983 Pan American Games, and the 1986 Goodwill Games, where she scored the most points for each team. These achievements solidified her reputation as a worldwide basketball superstar. With such a distinguished career, some may be surprised to discover that Cheryl Miller never competed in the WNBA. The professional league did not exist when she graduated from USC in 1986.
But we never knew that. We never knew that side, because my dad was like, I'm in the military and everything, but he would do that whole thing.
And knee problems ended her playing career before the WNBA was established in 1996.
I think it's hard sometimes looking at the dynamics of, you know, a dad and a mom, somebody's got to end up.
Miller, however, continued to contribute to her favorite game. She moved into coaching, taking over at USC, the Phoenix Mercury, and Langston University. Her ability to nurture and develop new talent, which she developed throughout her playing days, was a defining feature of her coaching career.
On this planet wouldn't want to be in this situation. And now my job is to stand back, roll out the ball.
Miller spent 17 years as a television reporter and commentator for TNT.
And we're going to continue to get better and better. All you have to do is look at, college basketball and what's coming next, the next wave.
Before returning to coaching, Miller's impact goes well beyond her accomplishments. She cleared the path for future generations of female basketball players, notably Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever's emerging star.
WNBA All-Star Game. You may recognize this woman beside me, Cheryl Miller. Reggie Miller's much more successful sister, isn't that right?
Underpaid Miller.
Caitlin Clark, one of the WNBA's most promising young players, has voiced her respect for Miller, stating, "Obviously, Cheryl is one of the pioneers of our game and an awesome individual."
My mindset is their mindset. So it's all fun and games until the ball is tossed up. And then it's on. And these guys are competitors at both ends. And we're just going to go out there and give it a great show.
Her demeanor exudes happiness, and being around her just makes you grin. For her to train us is quite thrilling for me. It's an excellent chance to learn from someone who has contributed so much to the game.
Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston. You've been able to watch these guys from afar.
Yeah.
What's your perspective been of how they've been trending and just them individually as well?
Clark's statements reflect Miller's widespread respect and adoration among the younger generation of athletes.
One of the best that's ever played the game, so I've known Cheryl for a little while now. I think her energy, that's what I love about her. Like, it's just contagious, and it's fun. Like, I called her coach and she was like...
Caitlin Clark, one of the WNBA's most promising young players, has voiced her respect for Miller, stating, "Obviously, Cheryl is one of the pioneers of our game and an awesome individual."
This is how the standard is for women athletics.
Her demeanor exudes happiness, and being around her just makes you grin. For her to train us is quite thrilling for me.
I can't look at her, she won't look at me. Then we have to do individual meetings, kumbaya, coach wants to tell you what you are and what you aren't. She goes, "You want to know why I said what you did?" I said, "I don't know, coach."
It's an excellent chance to learn from someone who has contributed so much to the game. Clark's statements reflect Miller's widespread respect and adoration among the younger generation of athletes.
Yeah, you'll have to see how I do during the game, so no, but it's super fun. And then obviously Eddie Myers-Drysdale too. Getting to be around those two people that have done so much for the game.
Miller's presence alone lends credibility to the Indiana Fever organization. As a game-changing player, her mastery of basketball's complexities is unparalleled.
I know you're strict, can we just find a common ground? The common ground's that gold medal. And she goes, "Yes, it is." And I said, "Coach."
Her ability to find and nurture talent might be the trigger that propels the Fever from the bottom of the rankings to a league-leading position. Miller's impact on the Fever is already being seen as she collaborates closely with the team's coaching staff and players, providing advice and mentoring that only a legend of her kind can provide. However, Miller's effect extends beyond the basketball court. She's also a strong supporter of gender equality in sports.
I really don't. I don't obviously talk about legacy because I'm still alive. I don't care what you guys say when I'm dead. But
and she's not hesitant to speak up about problems she feels are holding the game back. Miller was openly critical of the league's new TV rights package during a pregame interview at the WNBA All-Star Game. She advocated for a fourfold increase over the projected $2.2 billion over 11 years that the WNBA is expected to earn beginning in 2025. "I'm not great with numbers, but that's a lowball offer. Not even close," Miller said. "We've gone a long way, but now it's time for us to get what we deserve. I don't support gouging, but it's long overdue."
But it was a great collaboration with all the players, but Indiana has a very, very bright future.
Miller's desire for further financial investment in the WNBA demonstrates her conviction in the league's ability to develop and prosper. She understands that the WNBA needs finances to recruit great players, grow facilities, and reach new audiences. Miller's advocacy for the league demonstrates her dedication to ensuring that future generations of female basketball players have the resources and support they need to excel. With a force like Cheryl Miller pushing for the league, the WNBA has a lot to look forward to in terms of player growth and leadership transparency. Miller's impact is particularly beneficial to the Indiana Fever. Fans were ecstatic to watch their 3 young stars. Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell have the chance to be mentored by a great like Miller.
I will say one thing. I did not count on their basketball IQ being that high. I knew it was high, obviously, because they play at this level.
Miller's encouraging statements about the Fever's future have only increased the enthusiasm. Indiana has a very, very bright future, she told the crowd. These young players are learning how to play the game, learning from their errors and making improvements. The only thing that will happen as they grow older is that they will learn how to stop running, shift momentum, and gain confidence. This is not a team that people want to play down the stretch because they're improving and showing no fear. Miller's enthusiasm for the Fever's potential is contagious, and it's already affecting the team's attitude and performance. Miller's trust in the players' ability has motivated them to play with fresh purpose and intensity. The Fever's recent performances on the court have shown hints of progress, and under Miller's leadership, they might be on the verge of a significant breakthrough.
Not only speaks volumes, it's one thing to be young and they're learning how to play the game and they're learning about their mistakes and how to correct them.
Miller's impact extends beyond the technical elements of the game. She also assists the Fever players in developing the mental fortitude and resilience required for high-level competition. Her personal experiences as a player who overcame obstacles to reach excellence set a strong example for the team's younger players. Miller's ability to engage with the players on a human level, offering her thoughts and knowledge, is fostering a strong, unified squad that believes in itself and its capacity to achieve. Miller's engagement with the squad has also energized them. They understand that having a legend like Cheryl Miller on their side is a game changer, and her presence might be the key to the team's turnaround. As the Fever progresses and gains confidence, the supporters unite behind them, wanting to see their club reach the top of the league. Miller's impact is also felt across the WNBA, as her statements and actions generate discussions regarding the league's future. Her plea for further financial investment in the WNBA has resonated with players, coaches, and fans alike, sparking a wider conversation about how the league can continue to develop and prosper in the coming years. Also, her influence extends beyond her historical achievements. Her ongoing contributions continue to shape the landscape of women's basketball. Her recent remarks concerning the Indiana Fever underscore her deep understanding of the game's evolving needs and the direction in which the league should move. As someone who has not only dominated on the court, but also made significant strides off it, Miller's voice carries weight in discussions about the future of the WNBA. The Indiana Fever, with their roster of young talent, could greatly benefit from Miller's insights and leadership. Her ability to inspire and mentor players is unmatched, and her involvement could be the catalyst that propels the team to greater success. The potential for the Fever to rise in the ranks under Miller's guidance is a thrilling prospect for fans and players alike. Moreover, Miller's advocacy for better financial investment in the WNBA highlights her commitment to the growth and sustainability of the league. Her call for a significant increase in the league's TV rights package reflects her belief that women's basketball deserves recognition and resources commensurate with its value. This stance not only supports current players, but also ensures that future generations will have the opportunity to thrive in a well-supported league.
Because not only are they getting better, but they're confident and they show no fear. They're fearless.
So what is the future for Cheryl Miller and the Indiana Fever? Will her engagement with the club result in a turnaround in their fortunes? How will her push for more financial investment in the WNBA affect the league as a whole? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, Cheryl Miller is a force to be reckoned with, and her impact on women's basketball is far from over. Have you ever observed a rivalry so strong that it went beyond the court and made international headlines? A storm is rising in the world of women's basketball, and it all revolves around Caitlin Clark, one of the sport's most talked about stars. Her remarkable ascent has not only grabbed sports media headlines, but has also caused heated discussion among fans and teammates alike. This discussion recently took a dramatic turn when WNBA great Cheryl Swoopes sparked a stir after making remarks about Clark that many saw as hateful. To add fuel to the fire, NBA Hall of Famer Charles Barkley publicly defended Caitlin Clark.
If Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had
This narrative emphasizes not just the competitive aspect of sports, but also the cultural variables at play, the age split, and the influence that a single player can have on a league. So what precisely transpired that resulted in Cheryl Swoopes' termination? And how did Charles Barkley get involved? Let's go into the intricacies of this volatile issue. Caitlin Clark's rise to become one of the most important and exciting players in women's basketball has been nothing short of incredible. Clark has continuously proved herself to be a great player, beginning in high school when she was compared to legends and continuing through her tenure at the University of Iowa.
Clark working on Van Loo. Oh, Clark, pretty step back, hits a three.
Her scoring skills, court vision, and strong competition have earned her a huge following. Beyond the numbers, her leadership and boldness on the court have earned her a reputation as a game changer. Caitlin Clark's ascension stands out in a league known for producing stars. She symbolizes a new generation of players who are not afraid to question the established system, speak their opinions, and inject fresh life into the game that has not been seen in years.
Really good screen by Nia Coffey, and that's something that Nia Coffey does well every time down the floor. It tries to help the continuity of the offense.
Caitlin Clark on the board with a logo 3.
Drives the baseline, unimpeded.
Swoopes was a versatile player who excelled as a scorer, defender, and team captain. Her impact on the game must be considered. She opened the way for subsequent generations of female basketball players, demonstrating that women could compete at the highest level while eliciting the same amount of excitement and enthusiasm as their male counterparts. However, despite her status as a gaming superstar, her recent statements against Caitlin Clark have thrust her into the limelight for all the wrong reasons.
As Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is, I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be. And I don't think it should be.
Swoopes sparked the uproar when he made some sharp comments about Caitlin Clark during a podcast interview. Swoopes criticized Clark's playing style, claiming that the media overhyped her and that her success was due to marketing rather than true skill. While sports criticism is not uncommon, Swoopes' tone and the exact terminology she used caused many to conclude that her remarks were motivated by something more personal than conventional basketball analysis.
Caitlin, you all were able to turn up the defensive intensity in this quarter, get some key stops. What did that do for you in the transition game?
Yeah, I think we responded well after we had to use that timeout early in the third. I think turnovers are costing us a little bit. If we can take care of the ball a little bit better, we'll be in a better position, but I thought we did better on the O boards.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Swoopes questioned Clark's sportsmanship, citing specific occasions when Clark's angry on-court demeanor irritated opponents. She also said that Clark had received a free pass from the media and fans, who were more interested in promoting her as the face of women's basketball than in criticizing her actual performance.
It should be a whole separate entity.
Yeah, and it's not to take anything away from what she's done, but if you're talking about breaking records, then this is...
These remarks irritated Clark's followers, who considered them as needless and malicious. Many on social media accused Swoopes of being envious of Clark's success and wanting to bring her down rather than promote the next generation of athletes. Swoopes faced rapid and severe criticism. Fans and athletes alike flocked to social media to voice their disgust with her statements. Many people believe that as a pioneer in the sport, Swoopes should be more supportive of newer players like Caitlin Clark, who are helping to expand the game and draw new viewers.
In viewership records, there seems to be some haterade in the league in regards to Clark starting with WNBA legend.
Fans were not the only ones outraged. Several current and past WNBA players also weighed in, with some backing Swoopes' right to express her views and others criticizing her for what they regarded as an unjustified assault on a rising star. Opinions showed a generational transition in women's basketball, with some older players believing that the new generation was being given too much credit. In comparison, the younger players thought they were just carrying. As the situation escalated, the WNBA and other organizations affiliated with Swoopes were demanded to take action. The effects came quickly. Swoopes faced tremendous criticism from fans and sponsors after the affair. Several firms that had worked with her over the years started to distance themselves from the former WNBA superstar, but the most devastating blow came when it was revealed that she had been sacked from her job as an analyst and commentator for a major sports network.
Because Cheryl Swoopes made news. Now, she made news last week when she sat up there and was
The network issued a statement stating that it appreciated varied viewpoints but could not allow hate speech or personal assaults on gamers. While it would not expressly describe Swoopes' statements as hate speech, it was obvious that it believed her remarks regarding Caitlin Clark went too far.
Two-time MVP of the Las Vegas Aces, the best player in the world right now. She's about to set a single-season points per game scoring record, averaging 27.5 points, y'all. Surpassing Diana Taurasi's 25.3 points per game, set back in 2006. That's one person. The others...
Swoopes, for her part, released her statement apologizing for how her words were viewed but maintaining her criticism of Clark's playing style. She disputed that her comments were driven by envy or personal enmity, claiming that as a former player she was entitled to share her thoughts about the game and its participants.
There's been some haterade being thrown in her direction, okay? Because there's no excuse to have resentment towards her.
Despite the apologies, the harm was done. Swoopes' termination sent shockwaves across the basketball world, with many wondering whether it was the end of her career in sports journalism.
Are averaging 85% more than non-Caitlin Clark games. Just throwing that out there. You need to know. You need to understand these are the kind of things that comes with it, okay? So we got to get that out the way, okay? Then you got the Fever leading the WNBA in home attendance, 16,978, road attendance, 14,838. Indiana's outdrawing every other team by 35% at home and 36% on the road. Okay, we know what she did at the WNBA All-Star game. They averaged like 3.4 million viewers on ABC. That All-Star week. I mean, come on now. This is Caitlin Clark. This is the Caitlin Clark effect.
Enter Charles Barkley. Barkley, known for his outspoken attitude and propensity to avoid controversy, lost little time in responding to the situation. On his renowned sports program, Barkley defended Caitlin Clark, complimenting her brilliance, competitiveness, and influence on women's basketball.
This girl is incredible. What she did in college for women's basketball, what she's doing in the WNBA.
She turned the Fever were 1-8. They have a winning record now.
Barkley didn't mince words while discussing Swoopes' remarks. He termed them unnecessary and mean-spirited, arguing that instead of ripping down rookie players, veterans like Swoopes should help them up. He emphasized that criticism is a necessary aspect of sports, but there is a distinction between criticizing someone's performance and initiating personal assaults. Barkley also challenged the idea that Clark was being overhyped, claiming that her on-court performances spoke for themselves. He cited many of Clark's notable performances, adding that she had regularly produced under duress and proved herself against some of the finest teams in the nation. Most significantly, Barkley emphasized that Clark's success was not just due to her own skill, but also to what she symbolized for the future of women's basketball. He stated that athletes like Clark were helping to promote the game by attracting new viewers and demonstrating that women's basketball could be as thrilling and competitive as men's basketball.
Attention, eyeballs, she's brought the college and the pros. And for these women to have this petty jealousness, you say to yourself,
the debate involving Cheryl Swoopes and Caitlin Clark exposes a broader discussion concerning women's sports and how the media and the general public see them. For years, female athletes have worked for the same recognition and respect as their male counterparts. And although some progress has been achieved, there is still more work to be done.
No, Caitlin Clark. Respectfully, Cheryl Swoopes, you have any idea how that makes you look? You have any idea how that serves to stain?
Caitlin Clark's climb to fame occurs at a time when women's basketball is gaining popularity and support. The WNBA is gaining popularity, college women's basketball games are attracting greater crowds, and players such as Clark are becoming household names. However, with increasing exposure comes increased criticism, and how female athletes are judged may often vary from how male athletes are handled.
Any kind of critique of Caitlin Clark, because that gives fodder to those who believe she's being hated on and ostracized to some degree.
Many fans interpreted Swoopes' words as an example of the double standards that still exist in sports. While male sportsmen are often commended for their competitiveness and fiery demeanor, female athletes who exhibit similar characteristics are sometimes labeled as unsportsmanlike or too aggressive. Clark, with her passionate play and outspoken personality, has already faced similar criticism, and the argument over how she should be seen is part of a bigger discussion about gender in sports.
And now Clark comes up with a steal. Clark Thought about pulling up from three, will dip inside and lay it in. There are the...
Despite the uproar, Caitlin Clark's career in basketball seems better than ever. She continues to dominate the court, setting records and guiding her team to victory. Her fan following continues to expand, and with each game, she cements her position as one of the sport's best performers. Cheryl Swoopes' status as a basketball pioneer remains intact, although this probably harmed her image among some supporters. It's unclear if she will be able to rebuild her career in sports journalism, but one thing is certain: the world of women's basketball is changing, and athletes like Caitlin Clark are at the vanguard of that transformation.
Nobody told you to ignore them. What we're saying is, if you're going to give the Indiana Fever all the credit in the world, how you going to mention the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark's name even coming up? So then after that, Cheryl Swoopes engages in levels of immaturity. There's no way to slice it. I'm not going to insult this champion, this great basketball mind, this phenomenally accomplished Hall of Famer. I'm not going to insult her. All I'm going to say is it was pretty damn immature to come back at me like that. Called me an effing coward because I called you out for not doing your job. So you on a podcast, that means you don't have to do your job? I mean, the bottom line is this: she engaged in a level of immaturity.
Charles Barkley's defense of Clark and appeal for increased assistance for young players serve as a reminder that the game is larger than any individual. The future of women's basketball is dependent on the capacity of its players, both past and present, to collaborate to promote the sport and guarantee that the next generation of athletes gets the resources they need to flourish.
Wheeler finds Clark from the logo.
The narrative of Cheryl Swoopes, Caitlin Clark, and Charles Barkley captures the trials and successes of women's basketball in the contemporary age. It's a narrative of generational strife, media scrutiny, and the constant strain that comes with being a pioneer in a quickly changing sport. As Caitlin Clark continues to make an impact on the game, one thing is certain: the world is watching, and A'ja Wilson has long been a strong force in the WNBA, confirming her status as one of the league's best players. Wilson has repeatedly shown her ability to lead and dominate the court, beginning with her stint with the Las Vegas Aces and continuing with her expanding list of achievements. However, recent occurrences have prompted outrage and resentment, notably with the rising sensation Caitlin Clark. Clark, a relative newbie to the league, has quickly attracted recognition for her exceptional shooting abilities, especially from beyond the three-point line, making her a formidable adversary.
WNBA Player of the Week. There have only been 40 triple-doubles in the history of the WNBA. Cheryl Swoopes recorded the first WNBA triple-double during the 1999 season.
This quick climb to prominence has ruffled feathers in the WNBA, especially for A'ja Wilson, who is used to being in the limelight. Now that the MVP title is on the line, tensions are stronger than ever. Wilson, who is frequently seen as the league's face, looks to be under strain as Clark continues to make headlines, and her possibility for MVP has pushed Wilson to the breaking point. In this article, we'll look at the specifics of this strong rivalry, how it has affected both players, and why A'ja Wilson's response to Caitlin Clark's ascent has resulted in a spectacular public outburst.
Listen to this. Caitlin Clark added to her long list of accolades today after securing 2 WNBA awards for the month of August.
To understand Wilson's response, we must first look at her extraordinary career. Since being selected as the first overall choice in the 2018 WNBA draft, A'ja Wilson has emerged as one of the league's most feared and respected players. Her domination on both sides of the court, along with her leadership and ability to inspire her teammates, propelled her to 2 consecutive WNBA MVP awards in 2020 and 2022. Many considered her as the WNBA royalty's successor, and with good cause.
Here and to be able to be a champion, like add WNBA champion to that resume.
Wilson's statistics are amazing, as he routinely ranks first in scoring, rebounding, and defense. She's a complete player, and her leadership in leading the Las Vegas Aces to the WNBA championship demonstrates her influence on the sport. When you think about A'ja Wilson, you imagine power, finesse, and consistency. Even the best players encounter hurdles, and Wilson's biggest difficulty is no longer simply winning games. It's protecting her shine from being eclipsed by the league's newest star, Caitlin Clark. Enter Caitlin Caitlin Clark, a 6-foot guard whose shooting abilities have revolutionized what it means to be a sniper in the WNBA. Clark had already made a name for herself in college, becoming a social media star and household figure before entering the professional world. Her ability to make three-pointers with seeming ease has earned her a devoted following. Not only can she shoot from a distance, but her basketball IQ, court vision, and ability to help her teammates have made her one of the most fascinating players to watch.
WNBA Rookie of the Month. This is Clark's third Rookie of the Month. It's her first Eastern Conference Player of the Month. In August, Clark racked up 24 points, 8 dimes, and 5 boards each game.
Clark's debut in the WNBA has been nothing short of spectacular. She smashed expectations throughout her debut season, receiving tremendous accolades for her record-breaking achievements in key situations. Fans were captivated by her daring and flair, which recalled NBA luminaries such as Stephen Curry. Her ability to shoot long threes, combined with her talent at organizing offensive plays, propelled her to the MVP race almost quickly. Many people were surprised by how swiftly Clark challenged Wilson for the title of League Face.
Be here and be in these moments too. It just shows the amount of talent that we have, and there's even so much more talent that's not even in our league because there's only 12 teams. There's less than 144 spots, so they could have picked any combination of 12 players and probably been really, really successful. So I think for myself, from my standpoint, is this is a great opportunity to help prepare them for Paris, and I'm going to be supporting them and cheering them on. I love the Olympics. I've loved the Olympics ever since I was a young kid, and they're going to be just fine. They're going to win gold and dominate, so I'm not worried.
Next question, Caitlin, all the way to the right. Second
Hi,
row.
Caitlin.
Go ahead, yeah.
You just spoke on having 12 teams, but coming off a sold-out All-Star game, you're coming in the next 2 years. There's 2 expansion teams, including I'm from Toronto. We're getting our first team in Canada. What does it mean to you to come into the league at a time like this where the growth is unprecedented?
Yeah, it's awesome, and to be a part of this, to see it grow. It's super special. I'm happy for...
Clark has quickly become more than simply a player. She is now a brand in her own right. Her impact goes beyond the court, with her notoriety resulting in lucrative sponsorships and a fan following that crosses all demographics. This level of notoriety, particularly in such a short period, has fueled her and Wilson's increasing animosity.
While Caitlin Clark logged the most recent triple-double earlier this week, Caitlin Clark became the first ever rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double twice.
As Clark's popularity grew, rumors circulated that she may win MVP in her maiden season. While Wilson had been seen as the clear MVP candidate for most of the season, Clark's emergence as a credible contender upended the status quo. Wilson was concerned not just with losing the championship, but also with losing her status as the WNBA's public face. The media circus around Caitlin Clark only grew in the days leading up to the MVP vote. Analysts started to highlight Clark's numbers and the influence she was having on the league. Her efforts were nothing short of outstanding, and many claimed that her impact on the court paired with her breakthrough status qualified her for MVP honors.
Yeah, I think Becky just really wanted us to make sure that we're not distracted, and I feel like this season has been full of distractions, and we're only 2 games in. The target is still on our back. It just got a little bigger, and we just got to focus on us.
Wilson, on the other hand, had put together an outstanding season. Her statistics were similar to those of her previous MVP winning seasons, and she had guided the Las Vegas Aces far into the playoffs. However, it seemed that her accomplishments were eclipsed by the buzz surrounding Clark's first season. Clark's style of play enthralled fans, and the talk shifted away from Wilson's sustained domination and towards the young Phenom's possibility for MVP.
That's a play we work on every single day in practice, and to be honest, our first look was to get a layup at the rim because we knew they had to make a call, but I got the ball, got to go up, but honestly, I make that in practice, so when we were in the huddle, that's what I was envisioning, we never stop believing, that's what our group's about, so, that was every single person. It doesn't come down to just that play. I'm glad I could step up, though.
When that leaves your fingertips, what's going through your head?
Honestly, I thought it was money, so when I saw it go through the rim, I was excited, but, when I'm in here working by myself, those are the situations you put yourself in, and to be able to do it for this team on senior day against the number 2 team in the country, it meant a lot, so for our seniors more than anything.
The MVP announcement came, and the unexpected happened. Caitlin Clark was named the winner. The decision sent shockwaves across the league. Many fans, particularly those who supported Wilson, thought she had been overlooked, while others claimed that Clark's influence on the game made her a deserved winner. Aja Wilson found the news too hard to handle. Wilson was reportedly upset with the decision, feeling insulted after everything she had done in the league. This resentment quickly escalated into a public rage. Wilson was clearly distraught at a post-game news conference after the decision, saying, "I've given everything to this league, and to be passed over like this, it hurts, man. It hurts."
And the reality is the scrutiny that she's been subjected to is inexcusable, it's egregious, it's disgusting, it's wrong, and there's a bunch of punk, no good, you know what's out there on the male and female side who are abusive because they're really, really good at being that way when they're behind keyboards and away from cameras and out of the spotlight where people know exactly who the hell they are. The only reason that I brought up the first part about Angel Reese is this. Caitlin Clark is box office. She is a star. And Angel Reese is to be completely believed that there's no hate. They both get along. They're cool with each other. They're high-end competitors, etc., etc. But you've known they were coming for you when you were waving your hands in your face to mock Caitlin Clark when you were beating her for the national championship. And you also are old enough to know that in this society, whether they want to admit it or not, they don't like seeing somebody black coming at somebody white who is a beloved star of theirs. That's not the case with all. It's not the case with most. But those who screech the loudest get the most attention sometimes. And that's what the worst of cynics and critics do. And so you knew they were going to come for you. You had to know that. Now, to the degree that they're doing so, I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. But keep your spirits up because you're at a decisive advantage, Angel Reese. You're at a decisive advantage because they made the mistake of letting you know who they are, whoever those people are. And now you have perfect justification for keeping people at bay and not letting people too close where they could potentially hurt you. It's something most people usually learn when they get older. You learned it younger, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. You're at an advantage. As for the Caitlin Clark fans she was alluding to, she ain't lying. It's not all, it's not most. A lot of them are fun-loving. A lot of them are great fans. A lot of them are great, great people.
Wilson's response went viral, with fans and media sites discussing her apparent rage. While some sympathized with her, others chastised her for not accepting the loss graciously. It was evident, however, that Wilson felt deceived by the choice and the attention paid to Clark. Social media erupted in the hours and days after Wilson's rant. Fans of both players battled online, with some supporting Wilson's right to be outraged after being passed over for MVP, while others lauded Clark's stratospheric ascent and felt that her victory was well earned. Hashtags like Team Wilson and Team Clark started to emerge as the discussion over who genuinely deserved the MVP designation heated up. On Twitter, numerous renowned WNBA players chimed in on the matter, with some supporting Wilson and others applauding Clark. The issue was polarizing, as it seemed that the league was split between the established star and the new phenomenon. Caitlin Clark handled the situation gracefully. In interviews after the MVP announcement, Clark praised Wilson's achievements, stating, "Aja is an incredible player, and she's someone I've looked up to for a long time. I'm simply glad for the chance to compete at this level, and I know there's a lot more ahead for both of us."
Honestly, it makes me smile in return. Like, for me, I'm just myself. That's what I try to be. I try to just be a great role model for them, and I think it speaks to how I was raised as a kid. I've loved every second of playing sports, but also my parents always preach there's so much more to life than just sports. So understanding that, I think, really resonates with young kids, and also just giving them something to smile about, taking a second out of my day to give them a high five, to sign their shoe, sign their poster, whatever it is. I think that can mean the world to them, change their life, because that's what it was for me growing up, whether it was an athlete I wanted to be or was inspired by. I have countless stories of that, so I feel like they impact me just as much as I impact them, and for me, that's what's special.
You're so competitive on the court. When does the switch flip when you go to interact with kids?
Clark's humility and maturity in the midst of such a hot scenario only contributed to her attractiveness. While Wilson continued to express her displeasure, Clark kept a courteous demeanor, endearing herself to admirers. So why did Wilson react so violently to Clark's MVP win? Wilson was concerned with what the title symbolized rather than simply the term itself. Wilson had earned her spot as one of the WNBA's best players through years of hard work and commitment. She had carried the torch for women's basketball and served as a role model for future players worldwide. To watch a newbie like Clark come in and quickly win the MVP award seemed like a smack in the face to Wilson. It wasn't just about the trophy, it was about the acknowledgement and affirmation that it brings. For Wilson, the MVP title represented her status as the WNBA's face, and having it taken away by a rookie felt like an erosion of all she had fought so hard for.
Deep three. Clark has 10 straight games with 3 or more threes, the longest streak in WNBA history already as a rookie. Fever down those 69-66.
The marketing around Clark has also contributed to the rivalry's intensity. Clark's climb to celebrity has been meticulously orchestrated, with endorsements, sponsorships, and media appearances helping to propel her into the limelight. While Wilson has received plenty of sponsorships, the rapidity with which Clark has become a worldwide celebrity has been difficult for Wilson, who has spent years developing her brand. The MVP choice was the climax of this media-fueled contest, and many saw Clark's win as the media's success in anointing a new face for the WNBA. For Aja Wilson, this was the tipping point. Her rage was focused not just on losing the MVP award, but also on what the media and league seemed to be attempting to do, push her aside to make way for Caitlin Clark. It's no surprise that Wilson's public fury was as much about the bigger picture around her career as it was about losing the MVP.
Caitlin Clark. It's nothing really to say other than that. She's winning Rookie of the Year. She's a top candidate for league MVP honors. She ain't beating Aja Wilson for the MVP, but she's beating Angel Reese for the Rookie of the Year. That's a wrap. That's over. And props to Angel Reese, who's had a good year, by the way. Quick hitter number 3 goes to Chicago Sky rookie forward Angel Reese.
It's critical to understand that Wilson's response derives from deeper emotions of underappreciation, not only by the league, but by the whole basketball community. Wilson, a 2-time MVP and WNBA champion, has had to work hard to secure her position in the limelight. She came from a lesser market club, the Las Vegas Aces, and did not get the same initial attention and marketing push that Clark does today. Wilson's emotional reaction reveals a sense of being taken for granted. She has been a steady and powerful player for years, but despite her success, it seems that the league has only given her little notice. The MVP title symbolized not just personal performance, but also an affirmation of her status as the WNBA's face. When Clark won the championship, Wilson was naturally upset.
Averaging 27 points, 12 rebounds, and nearly 3 blocks a game, all of which lead the league, by the way. No one has ever finished a season leading the league in all 3.
Caitlin Clark's MVP triumph may indicate a change in the WNBA's future. Clark's style of play has infused excitement into the league, attracting new fans and increasing viewership in ways that few expected. Her style of basketball, defined by deep shooting and spectacular offensive maneuvers, has ushered in a new age of WNBA entertainment, garnering parallels to NBA players like Stephen Curry. Clark's MVP award means more than simply individual accomplishment. It might indicate that the league is moving to a new generation of players. Fans and the media have been drawn to her spectacular performances, willingness to attempt huge shots, and larger-than-life personality on the court. For many, Clark represents the future of women's basketball.
Being ranked 1 or 2. Or Asia being ranked 1, even though that was apparently decided before the season started. Apparently it was decided and no one else was allowed to be mentioned, but
However, this changing of the guard narrative causes stress for players like Aja Wilson, who are still in their prime but now have to compete against younger, flashier stars. Wilson saw the MVP award as more than simply a vindication of her career. It was also a chance to reinforce her position in this ever-changing world.
Is there any competition for Asia when it comes to MVP?
No, you knew that. You knew the answer to that before it even came out of your mouth. No, hell no, not gonna happen, not happening. You could just phrase that however you want to. No one is coming close.
Aja Wilson's passionate response to Clark's MVP victory generated controversy among fans and commentators. Some say that Wilson had every reason to be outraged. After all, she produced MVP caliber stats and guided her team to tremendous success during the season. It's reasonable that someone who has committed so much to the WNBA feels betrayed when she is neglected. The rivalry between Aja Wilson and Caitlin Clark has sparked controversy, but it has also drawn attention to the WNBA in ways that few other narratives have. Rivals have always been an important part of sports history, and the Wilson-Clark rivalry has the potential to boost the WNBA's image. By promoting Clark as the league's next great star, the WNBA is reaching a larger audience, which can only benefit the sport. At the same time, Wilson's sustained supremacy assures that the league will remain competitive for many years. This competitive edge between the two players is expected to propel both to new heights, resulting in confrontations that spectators will avidly watch. So where will Aja Wilson go from here? Despite her disappointment with the MVP loss, Wilson remains one of the league's finest players and will surely continue to dominate on the court. In fact, this setback may serve as fuel for Wilson to return stronger in future seasons, demonstrating once again that she is an unstoppable force in the WNBA.
It is done. Just go ahead and send her the trophy.
Send her the trophy.
Send it to her.
Yeah, send it to her. All right, she's got that. All right, but is the Rookie of the Year race?
Finally, although the MVP argument has created controversy, it has also showcased the extraordinary skill and intrigue that make the WNBA one of the most interesting leagues in professional sports. The competition between Wilson and Clark is about more than simply individual accomplishments. It is about the league's future and the rising interest in women's basketball.
They've both been tremendous. I thought they played great defense. They've made great decisions out of the pick and roll or pick and pop.
The world of women's basketball has been steadily rising for decades, but it has only just started to gain the recognition it deserves. Caitlin Clark, a player who has enthralled audiences throughout the United States and abroad, has played a crucial role in this shift. Caitlin Clark, known for her remarkable abilities, exciting performances, and unmistakable personality, has single-handedly revolutionized the WNBA's reputation, attracting fans who may otherwise have neglected women's sports.
Best college athlete, women's sports presented by Athleta is Caitlin Clark.
Until recently, the WNBA failed to attract the same amount of public attention as its male counterpart, the NBA. Despite having some of the world's most gifted athletes, the league's games were often overlooked, and attendance could have been better at best.
And I think we were down 2 points at halftime, but then we started the third quarter really, really strong, and I think that kind of set the tone for the second half, and we didn't really look back, and then Arike got...
However, the arrival of Caitlin Clark has altered all of that. In only a few years, she has become not just the league's face, but also one of its most popular attractions. Clark has captivated basketball fans worldwide with her remarkable shooting range, ability to dominate the game, and ferocious competitive attitude. She is now the #1 player in the United States, a distinction that represents both her supremacy on and off the court.
I feel very lucky to be a part of this weekend, and I think Phoenix did a tremendous job of putting this weekend on. The fans were incredible. Obviously, the game was really good.
Caitlin Clark is not like any other player in the women's game. From the time she goes onto the court, it is evident that she boasts a distinct set of abilities that distinguishes her from her colleagues. Her shooting range is, without a doubt, the most impressive feature of her game. Clark can shoot from distances that most players would never contemplate, and she does it with incredible effectiveness. Her vast shooting range has been her hallmark, and it has changed what is possible in women's basketball.
All night tonight. Are you talking about my high school experience? Clark!
Clark's game, however, includes more than simply long shots. What actually distinguishes her is the way she blends her shooting power with other abilities to create her a complete player.
Praise. She was absolutely right in saying that. We don't disagree, but that's utopia. Reality is it didn't happen to this level until Caitlin Clark showed up.
Her court vision is superb, enabling her to make precise passes and set up her teammates for scoring opportunities. She's also an excellent ball handler, capable of breaking down defenses with her dribble and generating chances for herself and others.
Here, Caitlin Clark just dancing with the basketball, going to her left.
Clark's game is reminiscent of several of the NBA's best players. Her shooting, passing, and ball handling abilities have earned her comparisons to NBA luminaries LeBron James, Jason Kidd, and Steve Nash. LeBron James is recognized for his flexibility and ability to dominate every facet of the game, and Clark has comparable characteristics. Despite being a guard, she has an outstanding ability to finish near the basket, similar to James.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to come in here here and compete. We knew we needed to make the Olympic team, help them prepare for Paris. So that was our goal. We knew they were going to compete, so we competed too.
Her 62.7% shooting percentage from inside 5 feet of the basket is not only excellent, but also astounding, particularly for a player her stature. Her ability to score around the rim gives her continuous danger.
Yeah, she was huge. She never shies away from the moment. She made some huge shots for us, but she's just poised, very poised. You can see it in her face, like she wants to be in those moments, so I'm super proud of her.
Requiring defenses to keep a tight eye on her every move. Then there's the comparison to Jason Kidd, a player known for his rebounding and quick playmaking. Clark too excels in these fields. Her rebounding stats are excellent for a guard, and she's constantly eager to push the ball in transition, quickly converting defense into offense.
13,000 fans. Somebody else had 15. Everybody else had over 20,000 plus. You think that would happen if Caitlin Clark was on that team? You think that would happen if Angel Reese was on that team? But especially Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is coming. Some people think she's already arrived. I don't. I think she's going to be even better.
Her ability to manage the pace of the game makes her an invaluable asset to her squad. Finally, there's the comparison to Steve Nash and Steph Curry, two of NBA history's finest shooters. Clark, like Nash, has a creative side to her game, often finding ways to make tough shots seem simple. Like Curry, she possesses an almost effortless shooting technique that enables her to score from wherever on the floor.
It's going to be, hard to lose, so we're just trying to get her the ball. So, proud of us. It was a lot of fun, and I thought we played really hard.
It's no surprise that fans and experts alike have made these parallels. Caitlin Clark seems to combine the greatest aspects of these NBA icons into a spectacular package. Caitlin Clark's effect.
3 for the Sparks, 0 for 9, and Caitlin Clark says
stretches much beyond her performances. She has become a sensation that is propelling the WNBA forward in terms of viewership and attendance. The Caitlin Clark effect is real, and it's being felt around the league.
Box office. Clark and the Fever currently lead the WNBA in average game attendance and per game TV viewership.
When Clark is on the court, everyone pays attention. Her games generate a lot of interest both from those in the bleachers and those watching at home. The stats speak for themselves. Anytime Clark performs, attendance increases dramatically. For example, the Atlanta Dream just established a record for the largest attendance at a WNBA game in Georgia history, thanks in large part to the presence of Caitlin Clark. The Caitlin Clark effect has become a formidable force in women's basketball, and other teams and players are eager to capitalize on it.
Got to play through it. That's what basketball's about at this level. So I thought we've been really physical. We've missed some bunnies around the rim, and so hopefully those fall in the fourth. But
this increasing interest has resulted in more games being aired nationally, providing the WNBA with a platform to reach a larger audience. Last year, the Indiana Fever had just one nationally broadcast game. This year, they had 36 of 40 games on national television. This demonstrates the WNBA's expanding popularity, with Caitlin Clark playing a significant role in that rise.
It would mean everything. That's like one of my dreams as a kid growing up. You always want to be an Olympic gold medalist.
Her presence on the court has made her a TV attraction, with millions tuning in to see her play.
Fans that love Caitlin's game, and Caitlin is having a phenomenal season, but what I want people to think about is
However, it is not only about TV ratings and attendance counts. The Caitlin Clark effect has had a direct influence on ticket sales and game advertising. When Clark is due to play, teams go all out to publicize the match. They make hype films, flood social media with postings, and even relocate games to bigger locations to meet greater demand.
She's always been a fan of mine, and I've always been a fan of hers, and she's just very down to earth, a great person. And
this proactive effort is paying off, as games starring Clark often sell out, leaving just standing room tickets available. Caitlin Clark's effect on the WNBA cannot be emphasized.
I'm happy for her, and it was fun. Like, they tried to sub me in for her. I'm like, no, I'm staying on the bench. This is fun to watch.
She is not just an excellent player, but also a marketing sensation, and her influence is helping to propel the league to new heights. The WNBA is still expanding, and with athletes like Clark leading the way, its prospects are brighter than ever.
Now, me as a fan of Caitlin Clark, I would have loved to see her on this international stage, but I understand that Team USA constructs their roster not necessarily.
Caitlin Clark's effect on the WNBA extends beyond her marketability and the energy she brings to the game. She is also a great player, smashing records and establishing new standards for what is possible in the league.
Without all of you, so seriously, I mean that, and I thank you, and this is special. I don't know if you guys realize what you're doing for women's basketball and women's sports in general, but
One of the most notable accomplishments in Clark's career so far has been establishing the rookie record for most assists in a season. With 9 assists in a recent game, she broke the old record and now has 232. This accomplishment is especially amazing, considering that Clark is just in her first season with the WNBA. Her ability to improve her teammates and generate scoring chances demonstrates her selflessness and in-depth grasp of the game.
We want to be back in the playoffs. That's been our goal since, the season started. We haven't been there since 2016, so.
Clark, however, is more than simply an assister. She is also on track to beat Alyssa Thomas' all-time WNBA assist record of 316, with 12 games remaining in the season.
We got to make a playoff push. We know our schedule is going to be difficult, and there's going to be teams fighting for.
Clark has a good chance of surpassing this number, establishing her position as one of the best playmakers in league history.
Thank you so much, and I just feel really grateful to be here, and I've put on an Iowa jersey for 4 years, but like Coach Bluder and Kate said, there's still so much more fun to have, and we're not done.
In addition to her assist records, Clark has received attention for her scoring abilities. She has routinely been one of the league's top scorers, with some of the greatest shooting percentages in the WNBA. Her ability to score from any position on the floor, along with her efficiency, puts her a continuous danger to opposition defenses.
I think it's easy. These people are my best friends, and that's not for show. I seriously know, I'm not me without all of them, and they've had my back. And
Clark's accomplishments are great, but what makes them even more astounding is the circumstances in which they were accomplished. She is competing in a league that is more competitive than ever, with teams loaded with skill and coaches continuously developing new methods to slow her down.
It's going to give people an opportunity to see how good women's basketball is.
Despite these hurdles, Clark continues to compete at a very high level, and her records demonstrate her devotion, ability, and hard work. While Caitlin Clark's career has been full of plaudits and accomplishments, it has also been fraught with obstacles and scandals. Like any high-profile athlete, Clark has encountered criticism and struggle, and how she has handled these circumstances has only contributed to her fame.
I think just reflecting back over my 4 years is I'm very grateful, starting and playing in front of absolutely no one during COVID.
One of the most significant hurdles Clark has experienced is getting passed over for the U.S. national team. Despite her stellar success in the WNBA, she was not chosen to represent her country in international competition.
I have heard that rumor. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think they're selling pretty well.
Many fans and experts were surprised and disappointed by Clark's omission, believing that her skill and effect on the game made her an easy pick for the roster. Rather than becoming discouraged by this setback, Clark turned it into inspiration.
Obviously, my sophomore year, we had good crowds. The curtains were down a lot of the games, and now it's impossible to get a ticket to get in the door to our games. So
during a hiatus from the Olympic women's basketball squad, she rested and endeared her to fans and made her a role model for young athletes worldwide.
But despite the attendance and viewership records, there seems to be some haterade in the league.
Clark has also been engaged in a few on-court disputes. In a recent game, she received a technical penalty for pounding the base of the hoop in desperation after a missed shot. The referee chastised her for disrespecting the game.
More than anything, they're my best friends off the court, and I think that's why we thrive on the court and have so much fun together. And more than anything, I know these girls are going to be my best friends for the rest of my life, and really that's all that matters to me.
But Clark claimed that her actions were motivated by her competitive personality and desire to do better. Surprisingly, she hailed the referee for the technical infraction, claiming that it inspired her to play harder and that her team improved as a result.
And I think that what she has done for women's basketball, especially in this country, has been phenomenal. There is no woman, no matter how great you were as a player, Cheryl Swoopes, there is no woman who should negate mentioning Caitlin Clark and what Caitlin Clark is doing for the game. I know the Monica McNutts and others were getting very, very frustrated at all of the buzz that was going in her direction, not to hate on Caitlin Clark in any way, because I'm sure Monica McNutt does not feel that way. She just knows that there were people on the ground pounding the pavement that were doing so much for women's basketball.
This event demonstrates another part of Clark's personality, her boldness. She is open about her feelings on the court and pushes the limits to achieve wins.
No, Caitlin Clark.
Respectfully, Cheryl Swoopes, you have any idea how that makes you?
While this has sometimes caused controversy, it has also made her one of the most captivating players to watch in the WNBA. Aside from the court, Clark has been outspoken about the WNBA's difficulties, notably in terms of pay. Like many other players in the league, she feels that WNBA compensation should be greater, particularly considering the league's expanding popularity and profitability. Clark has been a champion for WNBA players' improved wages and working conditions.
No, I mean, they're really good. They have plenty of talent on that team. It was the same, I think 4 years prior. I'm pretty sure the Team WNBA beat Team USA.
And her views on the subject have resonated with many fans and teammates. Caitlin Clark's impact extends beyond her on-court accomplishments. She is also making waves off the court, notably in sponsorships and marketing.
They were perfectly fine in the Olympics. I think if anything, it shows how good this league is. It shows how much talent is in this league and how you have to show up and prepare every single night.
Clark, one of the most recognizable women in the WNBA, has won many high-profile endorsement agreements, which have considerably increased her salary and visibility.
Down people's throats because she's a cash cow. Great, they're gonna market the hell out of this white chick. That's whatever she is. She puts the ball in the hole.
Clark's endorsement partnerships include a broad variety of items and businesses, including sports gear and consumer goods. Her popularity stems not just from her basketball skills, but also from her personality and ability to interact with people.
Caitlin Clark can ball. She should have been on Team USA because you needed the marketing buzz. I didn't say she was better than all 12 players that were on the team instead of her. Even though when they almost lost to France, I was getting nervous. Diana Taurasi wasn't on the court. I said, you need somebody that can shoot.
She is seen as a relatable person, one who is enthusiastic about her sport and committed to her art.
It's going to be really nice. I've loved competing every single second, but it's going to be a great month for my body to,
This has made her a popular spokeswoman for brands trying to attract a younger, more diversified audience. Clark's endorsement earnings are one of the most profitable elements of her career. According to current predictions, she may make millions of dollars in sponsorships alone as her fame and marketability improve. This is a big achievement for the WNBA, since it demonstrates that players in the league can reach financial success comparable to those in other sports.
But this is a non-sport.
So you don't think she has literally put life into WNBA? Yeah, we're talking about it right now, but I don't think she's going anywhere.
Clark's financial effect goes beyond her profits. Her participation in the league has boosted WNBA franchise values and increased total income. More fans are attending games, more merchandise is being sold, and more organizations are investing in the NBA, all of which can be traced back to the Caitlin Clark effect.
You a WNBA player? Caitlin Clark gonna get you paid. I'd figure out a way to be her friend. Or her friend of me. That's what Angel Reese has done.
Caitlin Clark's success in the sponsorship business bodes well for the WNBA's future. It demonstrates that the league's players can be more than simply athletes. They can be cultural icons and influential figures in sports and beyond.
You want to continue to get more of those players into this league because there's so many fans at the college level and continue to bring those fans here. So
as the WNBA grows, other players are sure to follow in Clark's footsteps, landing hefty contracts and helping to propel the league to new heights. Caitlin Clark's climb to the top of the WNBA has been nothing short of incredible.
I think people stepped up when their number was called and they were put into the game, and I thought we came out and started the second half well and really just found a way and dug deep and made plays when we needed to.
She has swiftly established herself as one of the most significant players in the game. Thanks to her unique skill set and effect on the league's popularity, her accomplishments on the court, along with her marketability off the court, have transformed her into a force to be reckoned with, and her future in the league seems to be very promising.
Messing with her, I always mess around with her, but then I told her, that record's for you, but maybe we'll break it at one point. Who knows?
So while we celebrate Caitlin Clark being named the #1 player in the United States, let us also look forward to the many more triumphs that are likely to follow. The WNBA is on the rise, and with stars like Clark leading the way, the future of women's basketball has never looked better.
Yeah, that's just not a basketball play, but, got to play through it. That's what basketball's about at this level, so I thought we've been really physical. We've missed some bunnies. Definitely, we're not coming here to just shoot around and, waste time. We're here to work and get better and compete hard, and our practice boys have done a great job, too.
I believe Grace was a state champion in high school for golf.
Against her today. I'm just happy we won. It was cool to play against her, and obviously a really great game. And like you said, this crowd was absolutely incredible.
Awesome, Caitlin. Congratulations. Thanks.
Did you know that no matter what you do to Caitlin Clark, she always has a supporter and warrior at her side? Sophie Cunningham, the WNBA standout, is now one of her greatest advocates. Cunningham has had enough of the critics who continue to criticize the rookie's influence on the league. She's not just supporting Clark, she's calling out everybody who has dared to criticize the rising star.
If Angel Reese was older, I would have gotten on her about what she just said. Because I would have been like, how naive can you be? But she is young. She's only 22. And the reality is the scrutiny that she's been subjected to is inexcusable, it's egregious, it's disgusting, it's wrong.
Caitlin Clark is not just dominating the court, she's also altering the WNBA in unexpected ways. And what Sophie Cunningham just stated might be the wake-up call the league, fans, and perhaps some players sorely need.
And all that they're going to get used to, but I think especially Caitlin Clark, she's been killing it, and I'm a huge fan, and I never say that, but I think it's fun what she's doing. When it comes to viewership, man, I think a lot of people have a lot to learn about our league, but I think that's a really fun thing.
Let's look at what Sophie Cunningham had to say about Caitlin Clark and why her statements are generating such a stir in the WNBA.
But you've known they were coming for you when you were waving your hands in your face to mock Caitlin Clark when you were beating her for the national championship.
Caitlin Clark isn't just another rookie, she is a phenomenon. Clark has broken expectations and changed the definition of what it means to be a newbie in professional women's basketball. In a league full of amazing talent, few have had the type of impact Clark has.
Who screech the loudest get the most attention sometimes. And that's what the worst of cynics and critics do. And so you knew they were going to come for you.
Particularly in such a short period. We're talking smashed records, jaw-dropping plays, and an unmistakable aura that she exudes every time she comes onto the court.
While Caitlin Clark logged the most recent triple-double earlier this week, Caitlin Clark became the first ever rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double twice.
Clark's ascent isn't just about her points or assists, it's about how she utterly changed the Indiana Fever, a floundering club, into a serious championship contender. What makes her tale even more astonishing is that she did not have the option of gradually adapting to the league.
It doesn't happen without them, it doesn't happen without the amazing coaches, and to kind of end my career in this note and hopefully winning a national title would be perfect.
Clark has consistently outperformed even seasoned veterans.
Caitlin, she continues to make history. She's the first rookie to win WNBA Player of the Month since the award's inception in 2010 and last night.
Despite her clear influence, not everyone is happy with the attention Clark has been receiving. Some players and supporters believe that the media and league are overly focused on Clark, overshadowing other worthy players.
Right, my first 2-3 years was very up and down, but I got in every single day. I tried to get better every single day, and I had to stay ready. You never know when your number is going to be called, and when my number is called, I did the best that I could.
Sophie Cunningham, Diana Taurasi's teammate on the Phoenix Mercury, isn't having it. She's defending Clark in a manner no one expected. Sophie Cunningham was candid in a recent interview. She made severe comments about anybody who tried to criticize Caitlin Clark's influence in the WNBA.
Yeah, I grew up 5 minutes away, and I wanted to put Mizzou women's basketball on the map, and there's a lot of hope, but I did just that through hard work, dedication, and just being tough-nosed.
I think every time I saw you play, I thought passion and toughness. What is it about you that makes you so tough and competitive?
During the conversation, she freely applauded Clark's skills and emphasized how incredible it is for a rookie to play at such a high level.
It's just I can't really say anything because I don't know yet, and we can't have those conversations till January. But I do know that I love it here, and so it'd be a blessing to come back.
I think Caitlin Clark has been killing it, and I'm a huge fan, Cunningham said. In the WNBA, it's rare for a seasoned player like Cunningham to laud a rookie publicly. It's unusual to witness such loud support, but Cunningham knows Clark is unique, and she's not hesitant to say so.
And I'm a huge fan, and I never say that, but I think it's fun what she's doing. When it comes to viewership, man, I think a lot of people have a lot to learn about our league, but I think that's a really fun thing. And if you have really anything negative to say about all the viewership and everything that this rookie class is doing. I just think that you're not capitalizing on it. And
But it was not all. Cunningham also discussed Clark's impact on viewership and interest in the league. If you have anything negative to say about the viewership and the attention that Caitlin Clark and this rookie class are bringing,
2 broken elbows, I have a bump on my head, black eye earlier this season. I think I just kind of sprained it, but I'll be all right.
All right, sounds good. We got that out of the way.
you're missing out, and maybe, just maybe, you're a little jealous, Cunningham added. This wasn't simply a show of support. It was a shout out to the naysayers, skeptics, and even those veterans who may be feeling the pain of Clark's success.
For you young people playing against that team, any vindication in the fact that you beat the Olympic team and you guys were not selected to that team?
No, I mean, they're really good. They have plenty of talent on that team. It was the same, I think 4 years prior. I'm pretty sure the team WNBA beat Team USA. They were perfectly fine in the Olympics. I think if anything, it shows how good this league is. It shows how much talent is in this league and how you have to show up and prepare every single night, because there's a lot of players that aren't even here on All-Star Weekend that can, be here and be in these moments too. It just shows the amount of talent that we have. And there's even so much more talent that's not even in our league, because there's only 12 teams. There's less than 144 spots. So
in professional sports, particularly in the WNBA, veterans seldom go out of their way to defend rookies, especially when the rookie in question is taking headlines and perhaps highlighting them. So why is Sophie Cunningham so determined to protect Caitlin Clark?
Caitlin, this will be our last question for Caitlin. Caitlin, fourth row to the right, and let me just say we'll be joined immediately by Enrique and NECA.
Thank you much. Caitlin, Greg Moore, Arizona Republic.
Go ahead, yeah.
10 assists, only 2 turnovers. You're known as a scorer, but you were a facilitator tonight, and it worked. What were you seeing out there that put you in that position to play that way today?
The reason is straightforward. Clark has a significant influence on the league as a whole, and Cunningham recognizes this. Caitlin Clark's ascension benefits more than just her brand and the Indiana Fever. It's beneficial for the WNBA. Since Clark joined the league, viewership has surged, social media participation has skyrocketed, and fans who had previously ignored the WNBA are now purchasing tickets and jerseys.
The sun, I'm still super pale. I'm still deprived of the sun, but I'm going to try to play more golf, honestly, over the break. I haven't been out there yet this year, so I got new clubs that I need to break in and see how they swing. So hopefully get out there later this week, honestly.
What kind of clubs did you get? Do you know?
Well, I have a lot of clubs. I have some Callaways I play.
The Caitlin Clark effect is real, and Cunningham, like many other astute players, understands how this focus helps everyone in the league.
I give a big old clap to the rookie class. I think that's a lot to deal with when you're at that age and you have that many eyes on you. But I think they've done a great job in the league as well.
Cunningham's defense of Clark extends beyond basketball. It is about safeguarding the development and future of the WNBA. Clark's success exemplifies where the league is going, and Cunningham wants everyone to understand that supporting Clark means supporting the future of women's basketball. But if anybody disputes Caitlin Clark's effect,
I don't think that's what I'm about either, yeah, I'm sad we lost this game, but I'm also so proud of myself. I'm so proud of my teammates. I'm so proud of this program. There's a lot to be proud of, but
just look at her statistics. Clark has produced figures that match the top players in the league in a very short period. Clark has averaged 22.6 points, 8.4 assists, and 4.8 rebounds in his previous 5 games. That's not just great for a rookie, it's exceptional for any basketball player. Clark's effectiveness elevates her game to new heights. She shoots 48.1% from the field and an impressive 44.4% from beyond the arc.
I think turnovers are costing us a little bit. If we can take care of the ball a little bit better, we'll be in a better position, but I thought we did better on the O boards. Thanks, Kayla.
These aren't simply remarkable stats for a first-year player. They rank her among the best performers in the league.
And they really turned it around. They've won 7 of their 8 since. They clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2016, which, by the way, was the last year of Hall of Famer and franchise icon Tamika Catchings.
Clark, however, is concerned with more than simply individual statistics. She is raising her whole staff. The Indiana Fever, previously considered an underdog, have emerged as genuine challengers challengers, thanks in large part to Clark. Her ability to see the floor, make difficult passes, and hit clutch shots has made her the focal point of the Fever's comeback. If dominating the court and putting up exceptional scores wasn't enough, Caitlin Clark is about to shatter some huge records. She is now one of the top 3 rookies of all time in terms of overall points, although the season is far from done.
We lost 2 players that were 3-year starters for our program, and to be back in this position and come out here and battle, I mean, South Carolina is just so good. Like, there's only so much you can do. I mean, Cardoso has 17 rebounds. They have 51 as a team. We have 29. Like, hard to win a basketball game like that. You basically got to shoot perfect at that point, and
Clark is also closing in on the record for most points scored in a single WNBA season. If she keeps up her present pace, she will not only smash records, but also establish new standards for what is achievable in women's basketball. Clark is doing more than simply playing basketball. She is rewriting the game's rules. Her court vision, passing abilities, and propensity for producing improbable plays have caused other teams to reconsider their strategy. Defenses are being created expressly to stop Caitlin Clark, yet she continues to dominate. Teams are having to adjust, and as a result, the overall quality of play in the WNBA is improving.
Three-pointer through the season, 34 games, passing Ryan Howard with the fewest career games to reach 100 points. And then just a couple seconds
in transition, she is so fast.
Despite her enormous success, only some are pleased with Caitlin Clark's ascension. Some seasoned players and even fans have criticized the attention she is receiving, claiming it is exaggerated and unfair. They claim that Clark is taking the attention away from more experienced players and that the media is giving her too much credit. Sophie Cunningham, on the other hand, recognizes this critique as envy. As she said in her interview, people who are unhappy about Clark's focus are missing out on the progress and prosperity she is bringing to the league. Instead of seeing Clark's success as a threat, Cunningham thinks that athletes should seize the opportunity it represents. More attention to the WNBA translates into more fans, income, and possibilities for everyone.
In viewership records, there seems to be some haterade in the league in regards to Clark starting with WNBA legend Cheryl Swoopes herself.
Caitlin Clark's ascension involves more than simply basketball. It is about the future of the WNBA. Since Clark's debut, viewership, ticket sales, and retail income have all increased significantly. The excitement around Clark has attracted new viewers to the league, many of whom are experiencing women's basketball for the first time. Fans aren't just watching Clark, they're learning about the whole WNBA, which is great news for every player. Clark's accomplishments also set the standard for future players. She demonstrates that it is possible to join the league and have an instant effect, and she inspires new players who want to follow in her footsteps. The WNBA is expanding, and Caitlin Clark is at the forefront.
My main focus is on preparing for a game. I think that's pretty easy for me. I don't think you need much motivation other than you're playing in the Final Four with a trip on the national championship on the line. So I think it's
as spectacular as Caitlin Clark has been in her debut season, the most thrilling aspect is that she is only getting started. Clark is still adapting to the WNBA, studying the habits of rival defenses, and finding out how to handle a professional athlete's demanding schedule. But even while she learns, she is already dominant. Looking forward, it's difficult not to wonder what Clark will be capable of in a year or two after she's acquired more experience and completely integrated into the league. The Indiana Fever, led by Clark, is expected to continue creating a championship caliber club. And as Clark evolves, so will the WNBA. Caitlin Clark has played A.
Continues her superstar trajectory. She's the only rookie in WNBA history with the triple-double and now has 2 in her debut campaign.
While Caitlin Clark's future seems bright, it is critical to recognize the hurdles that lie ahead. The WNBA season is long and arduous, and as a rookie, Clark is facing stiffer defenses and playing more minutes than she has ever done. The physical toll of the season may begin to wear on her, and the question remains, can she maintain this level of performance into the playoffs and beyond? There's also the question of expectations. Clark established a very high bar for herself during her first season, and everyone now wants her to surpass it in every game. If she has a terrible night or has a scoring slump, the naysayers will be out in force. How Clark manages this pressure will determine her long-term success.
I think it's a little different. I think the biggest thing for myself is, like, this is my senior year. it's special being able to.
Finally, there is a concern about lifespan. Clark is now playing at an exceptional level, but can she continue it throughout a lengthy career? Injuries, exhaustion, and mental stress are all real dangers, and Clark will need to remain focused and take care of her body if she wants to have the long, successful career that superstars like Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird have had. Sophie Cunningham's heated words regarding Caitlin Clark were more than simply protecting a rookie. She was making a statement about the future of the WNBA. Cunningham's message is clear. Caitlin Clark benefits the league, and those who criticize her are missing the greater picture. Cunningham's support for Clark highlights the WNBA's key moment. The league is expanding, and athletes like Clark are helping to bring in a new era for women's basketball. However, for this progress to continue, players, fans, and the media must all be on board. As Cunningham pointed out, jealousy and criticism will not benefit the league. What will assist is to embrace the future and encourage the athletes who are propelling the WNBA ahead. Caitlin Clark is one of those players, and if the league continues to expand at the rate it has since her arrival, the WNBA's future appears very bright.
I really do. I think it's a fun time to be a part of the W. I truly believe that. I think the skill and the talent has always been there, but now it's just...
Caitlin Clark's freshman season has been nothing short of groundbreaking. Clark's jaw-dropping numbers and unmistakable influence on the league are transforming the WNBA in ways no one could have expected. And with players like Sophie Cunningham on her side, Clark has the backing she needs to continue her rapid climb. However, Caitlin Clark's narrative is about more than simply one participant. It's about the future of women's basketball, the expansion of the WNBA, and the possibility of even greater success in the years ahead. Clark is leading the charge, and as she continues to set records and inspire the next generation of players, one thing is clear: Caitlin Clark is here to stay, and she is changing everything.